Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Consider yourselves very, very fortunate because you and I are contemporary with some fantastic political and historical changes on this planet. Not good for some, obviously, not good for many, I would say, but hey, we got to this point. It could have been better if Al Capone didn't decide to do what it did in Ukraine and with NATO in general, which is move and consider Russia still as an enemy ready to be destroyed. With that framework or whatever worldview, this is what we live. We live now in a situation where this planet breaks in two, politically, geographically. They're going to still remain the same, certain countries, but as interests, as alliances, as institutions, this is a big break. And this is caused, I would say, by some organizers who wanted to, I would say, have the world hegemony, to be in charge. Let me show you this little article coming from Reuters, and that shows for real that Al Capone is cornered, lost. His planning was hyped based on their ideology and I would say delusional thoughts of grandiose, being, I don't know, narcissist. So let's look at this article coming from Reuters, which says that Lula says Putin would not be arrested in 2024 Brazil G20 meeting. So what does that tell you? Screw you guys, I'm on that side. Or the side of nobody, but let's see. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said on Saturday that Russian leader Vladimir Putin would not be arrested in Brazil if he attends the Group of 20 meeting in Rio de Janeiro next year. Interviewed on the sidelines of the G20 meeting in Delhi by news show First Post, Lula said Putin would be invited to next year's event, adding that he himself planned to attend the BRICS bloc of developing nations meeting due to Russia before the Rio meeting. And I'm quoting, "I believe that Putin can go easily to Brazil," Lula said. "What I can say to you is that if I'm president of Brazil and he comes to Brazil, there's no way he will be arrested." And quote, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant. Now, when I say International Criminal Court, I will bring you again to this. I covered it many times. This is an organization, an international organization. It's not a United Nations body. That's a different court. This is an organization. It's like in a neighborhood, we have three neighbors. We decide to have a little group of ping pong. It doesn't mean that everybody else is in the group. That means I have no jurisdiction over everybody else who is not in our little three households group. The same here with this. This is not an international mandatory body as would be, how do you call it? It's just like you have an understanding between a few countries. It's not the United Nations, okay? So bring that down. Russia is not a signatory, so it's not part of the ping pong club. You can't get upset that Russia is not playing ping pong this Sunday. It's not in the club. So, that's basically what Russia says. So, they issued a warrant, has no jurisdiction over Russia, but they still did it for the weasels to, yeah, man, he's guilty. He's not guilty until proven, man. He's innocent. Did you find him guilty? Was investigations? Yes, he's this. We found evidence that he might have committed genocide and so on. Well, we have some court procedures, and then that's going to be determined by whom? Not by International Criminal Court of The Hague, but they don't mention that. So again, him accusing him of the war crime of illegally deporting hundreds of civilian children from Ukraine. Russia has denied its forces have engaged in war crimes or forcibly taken Ukrainian children. So far, nothing proven, because someone accuses you of something that doesn't mean it's true. They might have suspicions, but they have to prove it in court. But they want to arrest him. Really? Why don't you go and arrest for the same reason, let's say, Bill Clinton or George W. Bush the second Why not Barack Obama? All these guys attacked and did certain things that were not quite right. Remember? So I will start with Clinton, the illegal, under the United Nations, bombardment of a sovereign state that never attacked NATO or United States, which was Yugoslavia at that point. That one. The other one, Bush invading countries that has done nothing proven to this country. Afghanistan and Iraq. Yeah, they are covering for Osama bin Laden. Where was Osama bin Laden being killed? What country was that? Where? In Pakistan? Please, my friend, did you bomb Pakistan? No, because Pakistan first has nuclear weapons, and second, they receive money from you, like Al Capone. Is a paid informant, paid whatever. All right, Putin has repeatedly skipped international gatherings for reasons that you imply is because of that. I don't think that's what it was. And was not present at the G20 get-together in Delhi, sending Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, which I think he had the success with the rest of the G20, smacking the little club of the countries. By what? They didn't make the Ukraine war the main subject over there. That's one. Brazil is a signatory to the Rome Statute, which led to the founding of the ICC, International Criminal Court. Lula's office did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So Brazil, as South Africa, BRICS countries, are signatory of this. So they are in the club, in a ping-pong club. But they say, you know what, for Russia, we will ignore the regulations of the ICC. What does that tell you? Breaking away straight in your face. And I'm not going to be surprised if Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, will come out and say, well, you know what, we will not do this. He said we will not arrest him either. That's what he said. My friends, we are witnessing a separation. And this was, I would say, triggered by the advancement of NATO and these guys trying to take over, challenging Russia. And Russia said, don't do it, don't do it, don't come closer, don't come closer, don't come close, don't come closer, I'm gonna punch. Boom. They attacked us unprovoked. And then Russia says, don't do this, don't give them this, don't give them that, don't do this, don't use intelligence, don't use HIMARS, don't use tanks, don't use warplanes, and said, yeah, okay, we're gonna show you how it's done. Click, we're gonna activate, now we're gonna be for real. Look what's going on in Africa. Look what's going on in Asia. Right now, Biden is in Vietnam to suck the guy's thing over there to have him join the alliance, and he was flicked by the Vietnamese in charge. He said, I can't remember his name. I will feature that video later, that article in my video later. So he flicked Biden. He said, no, we're not going to join your partnership with Australia and your other weasels over there. Yes, I said it. It's a fact. What do you want me to do? Whenever the United States gets in a little robbery, Al Capone, Australia is their volunteer. Supposedly, they say because United States, supposedly, this was the reason I read about, could be some others, I'm pretty sure there are some others, and I don't know if this is the main reason. Supposedly, the Australians were helped by the Americans in the Second World War because they were by the Japanese big time. I can't remember where exactly. I don't want to say a name because I have to, but I don't want to say it. Anyway, it was not Guadalcanal. It was, I don't want to say it. But anyway. And then supposedly since then, Australia was like to the United States of America, free, independent, sovereign country. Yeah, you owe someone, but it doesn't mean that you're going to hurt your own people, your own mother, your own family for that guy. I mean, really. Thank you very much. We're going to be with you. But when you're wrong, we're not going to be with you. Well, they seem to join. So again, this broke in two, and Russia activated the African mission, Russia activated the East Asia mission, and Asia, Middle East mission, and South America and Central America mission. And look what happened at G20. Look what's happening with BRICS, accepting more countries, creating their own bank, de-dollarization. Petrodollar is going to be cut, or at least diminished, which is a big hit to the United States. So you tell me where the United States won? In Ukraine? They didn't even win in Ukraine with all their support money they take from us and weapons they send to kill the Russians. That's the word, not military aid. No, it's not military aid. You send weapons to kill other people. That's why. But if they would say the way it is, the support will drop from less than 50%. And finally, these guys got it. They got sick because the Coca-Cola costs too much. Will drop to 10%. Anyway. So yeah, we are living in a yellow submarine right now, like the Beatles song. But no, we are in not bad. This is a great opportunity if we are allowed to survive after this. We're going to look at this and say, man, that was a tectonic change, rearrangement, dealing of the world. This is where I don't think in the past ever you've seen something like this. Not even a Second World War was not so covered like it is right now. Like this guy's right here, this guy's right here. I think BRICS and Russia, China, India, and other countries, Brazil, will form their own institutions parallel to the weasel institutions created by one or two countries, and they got everybody to join, and then they kick you out whenever they say, I kick you out of SWIFT, kick you out of this, we freeze your assets, we freeze this. Why? Because they're in charge. And wait, you joined. Now they're not going to join. They're going to create their own and see how this is going to be. Well, it's a mega mistake, and not mistake, loss, miscalculation. It was a hype. We're going to impose the first sanctions on Russia. They will be dead, and in 2 days their ruble, we're going to hit bottom. There will be social demonstrations, spontaneous. They're going to go and change the regime, and we take everything we want from Russia. All the resources are going to be in our hands. We're going to politically have Russia by the balls. And the military, we're going to be in charge of them. They will demilitarize. We're going to give whomever whatever. Well, it didn't happen that way. Why? Because they started with an ideology, with a wishful thinking that was not based on reality, on the territory. That's why how were we so wrong? Because you were subjective. You subjectively gathered the information. Pick and choose, selective data. That's what these guys did. And you have these guys, yeah, we're gonna do it. How? We have the stealth fighters and the invisible fighters and the invincible Abrams. And guys, get real, go around the block halfway at least. Don't have to go the whole circle to understand these guys are pulling. Yes, patriotism is good, to love your country, but it's a point beyond you become irrational. These guys pushed a great majority of these guys into the irrational camp. Why? They still think that the MiGs, the Sukhois are bad, not good, heavy, rusty equipment. They still think of Russia as being in Stalin's times, 1951 or 48. These guys are really, they let themselves to buy the garbage the media gave them. And the school and the politicians. It's them against us, my friends. It's them against us. And them is the politicians, the guys behind the big interest, which is economic and politically, economic mainly, the so-called the globalists. Want to take over and impose their rules. No, own nothing and be happy. No, I want to own everything and be happy. And I that's how I want. And that's exactly what they want. But we are not. We're be humble over there. Humility is a virtue. It's fucking no virtue, humility. You want to be humble? You have humility. You have humility. Humility is not a virtue. No. I'm world champion, but I'm not good. I'm not better than anyone else. What the fuck? I'm the world champion. Fuck you all up, man. Yeah, that's how you should be. Well, after a while you become annoying, but it's the reality, you know. Here is, my friends, I'm getting in many other subjects now, and I can keep going on and on. The fact is, Brazil, and this little article shows us, Brazil says, you know what, you. And I don't know if he does that because he's a communist, I don't know if he does, or all the above. He's a communist, he hates capitalism, obviously, he hates Al Capone for his capitalist moves and his CIA moves around the world and military moves. Just because that's the way he is, just because he's a fair guy and he sees things objectively, which, you know, we all have our subjectivity. We can't see everything objectively. We can more than others, and others can see it more objectively than we can. That's normal. But I don't know, it's all the above, I think, with Lula. And I'm grateful that he's is seeing things in a positive way, the way it is. He wants to organize a meeting between Zelensky and Putin and have them talk about negotiate. Putin will not meet Zelensky, Zelensky will not meet Putin, and it's not about Zelensky and Putin, it's about United States, Al Capone, and Russia. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.